Thank you, and thanks for the invite to come and speak to everybody today. I know I've spoken with many of you at various times, and I've gotten to know a number of you. So some of you might know some of the details I'm going to speak of, some might not. So bear with me as I go over some of the information. I can tell you IHIT is the Lower Mainland Homicide Investigation Team. We look after the jurisdiction from Boston Bar right out to Pemberton, Sunshine Coast, and the Lower Mainland District. So what that means is any RCMP community within the Lower Mainland. We are integrated, so that's inclusive of Port Moody Police, New Westminster, and Abbotsford. We have 106 employees, including our support staff within IHIT, and we have 6 investigative teams, including our support services, which is ISU. They look after investigative interviewing. We have our legal application support team, file coordination team, and we also have analysts within our unit, our support staff, and we have a newly created family liaison position. And that position was created because a lot of the times, especially through our busy times, our investigators are wrapped up with investigations, ongoing investigations. So creating that family liaison position was just another person that we could have that could be in contact with families who needed to reach somebody quickly. I can tell you that this year I believe we're sitting at about 16 files. Last year we were just over 50 investigations. So our unit will take on an average of anywhere from 35 to 65 files a year. We were created in 2003 when there was a need identified to have a specialized unit for these investigations, and that was done because these investigations are very resource heavy financially and with the number of investigators that we need to dedicate to them. There's many questions on why the investigations take so long to investigate. And that is simply because our investigations are evidence-driven. We will be deployed to an investigation, and within the first 24, 48, 72 hours, we have a very resource-heavy team to go out and retrieve the evidence, retrieve the information, speak with witnesses, do neighborhood canvassing in order to get the details, the facts, the evidence that we need to push our investigations forward. That evidence, with that said, is different with every investigation. So we can have somebody in custody within days, or our investigations can take weeks, months, and sometimes even years. And since our creation, there are still files that we have where we haven't identified who the suspect is. I can tell you also that about 95% of the time when we roll up to an investigation, we have our investigative theory. That's not fact, it's not evidence, it's just what we have based on the evidence that's presented to us in the initial stages. We have a theory. That theory is not always 100% with what has taken place, so you'll see a lot of the times the media will comment on what the file looks like to them in the initial stages, and that is why we don't go out with a very fulsome picture of what that investigation is in the initial stages, because sometimes we're wrong. And it's not until we can deliver the facts and retrieve the evidence that we can go out and concretely say, here's what's taken place. We in BC, the police in BC, do not forward charges. We work with our Crown Counsel, and we work closely with them to reach the threshold that is required, and that threshold is a substantial likelihood of conviction. Based on that, it means extra work for our investigators in the forefront, trying to get out there and gather the evidence that we need. But in the end, and I know Andrew will speak to this, it makes for a more fulsome investigation. I can tell you, someone asked a question earlier about how it is to move forward with these investigations and not be emotionally tied to them. And I don't think it's possible, to be honest. I think that you have to be tied to it. And I think that the people that are tied to it, the people that want to work in this environment, are the right people to do it. You have to have empathy, you have to like people, and you have to want to see justice moving forward. And I can say, speaking on behalf of IHIT, we are a dedicated team of investigators that work for you. We work for the families. It's excruciating to see what you go through, it really is. And if we could take it all away, we certainly would, but we can't. So based on that, all we can do is work hard. And the investigators at IHIT will work beyond hard. They are working sometimes 48, 72 hours straight, taking naps under their desks in order to get the people, the person that's responsible. It affects families. It affects our own personal mental health. There's certain assessments that we have to go through as well. Yearly, on a yearly basis, we have to go and seek counseling ourselves to ensure that we're moving forward solidly. With that said, I know last time we had the ability to bring somebody from the media in here. I don't think that's happening today. So if anybody has any questions moving on about the media, why the media do things the way they do, how we as an agency work with the media, I can certainly try and shed some light on that. I don't have all the answers for you because, of course, I don't work in that capacity as a reporter. But I have worked with them long enough to kind of know how they think, to know what they're looking for. And if you need some questions answered, I would certainly be available to answer some of that for you. With that said, I guess we'll wait for questions after. But thanks again for having me here. I have nothing but the utmost of respect for everybody here, the family members, the employees that work with you through this. And I'm always available 24/7 if anybody has any questions for me as well. Thanks.